Okay, Fujos. Layla is pregnant. I am excited. I am elated. And we all know Edwin wanted babies along this journey of him being a human and Layla not realizing for a good time and a long time that his companion, one he thought was his friend, eventually turning into his lover, is actually a deity snake, and that the original Edwin had gone to the Northern Lights when he made a first visit to Layla's family estate. So, I am looking forward to exactly how many babies Layla is going to have and how are these babies coming out of Layla's body? Inquiring minds would like to know. But let's recap and react to the recent chapter of The Serpent's Den. Let's get into this intro. What's going on, Fujos? And welcome to the Hippie Fujoshi. I am your girl, Hippie. And like I said, we find out that Layla is pregnant, and the fact that Edwin had a dream of these three gems, and he had a feeling that he felt something moving in Layla's body, and how the chapter before this one ended with Layla being sick from the sight and smell of food. I was like, "Ooh, Babuski, he is pregnant. He's pregnant." Now it's like, how did he get pregnant? And pregnancy was definitely foreshadowed for them because Layla's backside started doing something that a uterus tend to do when it's excited. And I truly believe it was Edwin's fluids and maybe his wishes of wanting to have children with Layla because Layla is his wife in his mind. So he turned Layla into the ideal wife he wanted to be with in hindsight, as far as his insides, to give him babies. Okay. Now, Layla finding out that he was pregnant is an interesting read within itself because you can understand why Layla is confused. Layla is human, and to his understanding, only women can have babies. But he's missing the fact that Edwin is not human and he's a deity, meaning he has capabilities that other men don't, in which it does break it down in this chapter that Edwin's soldiers can keep on marching a couple of months, couple of weeks, I think up to a year. So they have done the boom she boom, especially in his snake form a few times. So no telling when. And he has skeet the club a few times. If you are familiar with the Serpent Den, you already know what freak McNasty shit these two are into, especially Edwin. But you have to keep reminding yourself once you find out that he's a snake. So he's into snake like sensual shit. We have to do with urine a lot, a lot. So Layla finding out that he's pregnant as a man was something that he really couldn't wrap his mind around. And Edwin made it very clear of how he knows Layla is pregnant because he can feel the energy of the entities that are in his body. So he's making it clear to Layla that those are not human babies brewing in your stomach. So no telling what he's liable to produce. Will they be eggs? Even Edwin doesn't know how the babies are going to come out of Layla. And this is interesting because he's been wanting this every time he shoots up the club. And it's crazy that he's finally getting what he wants and he's shocked by it and he doesn't know how this is all going to pan out. Now, the ending of the chapter before this one you would assume that the doctor has come and checked out Layla, but Edwin knows for a fact that a doctor cannot come near Layla because the condition Layla is in is not something normal in the human way of living in this manhole. So, of course, he has to protect the babies and he has to protect Layla. Hence why he decided to do his own checking and what he does. And he found out that Layla is pregnant. We get introduced to one of Layla's brothers who you know, we only thought he only had one brother, but he apparently had many brothers. And this brother comes up with an idea to protect Layla because he feels sorry that Layla is on this estate by himself, especially after their parents are gone, and he literally Layla's on that estate by himself, and the only person who's been there with him has been Edwin. And the brother feels like it's about time that he's not so much alone and in a space where he can assist him more and somewhat, I guess, pop up and be there for him more. Because I'm feeling like the brothers don't really come to the estate, being that it probably reminds them of the parents. But it's like your little brother's there, Layla's there. Like, what are we doing? But anyway, neither here nor there. He comes up with the idea for Layla to live on one of his estates that he can set up for him. And the weather would be better for Layla, being that Layla has never gotten sick. Even though Layla is small, have a frail body, he's not a sickly person. So to hear that Layla is sick, the brother is really worried. Now, we all know how Edwin acts, and Edwin can't be away from Layla. And when he described how um how the male snake acts when the female is pregnant, Edwin is in a flight and I will fuck you up state if you try to take him away from Layla because Layla is harboring his babies. And you can't separate them two right now. I mean, you couldn't separate them before, but even more so now because we don't know what this megalomaniac is liable to do. So we see that Edwin, quick thinking, quick wit, decides to have a conversation with Layla's brother and wiggle his way and make himself a part of Layla living on this different estate and reassure Layla's brother that he will be there to take care of him and protect him like the brother that he is, aka in his brain, Layla is his wife. And at the end of the day, they're about to have snake babies. People cannot know what is going on because nobody knows that Edwin is really a snake. Everybody thinks he's human, and Layla's the only one that knows the secret. But it's so cute how Layla knows to keep it a secret. Of course, being the fact that he's a man that's pregnant in a world that don't have imprint on an everyday basis. How about on a no day basis? So this estate is perfect because I'm sure finding out Layla was pregnant, it was like, how was they going to maneuver with people not knowing what was going on with Layla? Being that I think the other house they go to, the servants are fully aware of them and attentive of Layla, being that Layla is very fragile presenting and he's emotional. So he acquires a lot of attention. The biggest question of this chapter for me is how is Layla going to give birth? What is going to come out of him? And Edwin doesn't even know what's going to come out of him. They are going to go to this estate that the brother is setting up for Layla, and they're going to lay low and be into some freaky things, but raise their babies. But the question is, how are you going to explain these babies when people actually see them? How are these babies going to look? Are they going to have the capability? Are they going to have the capabilities like Edwin? will they be able to shift to be humans? Because we already know what Edwin had to do to become human. Now, the difference with his children are they share a DNA with a human. Now, I don't know if it's because Edwin is the one that, did mostly all the work. But at the end of the day, the other slice of DNA is Layla, and Layla is human. So you're really wanting to know how these children are gonna come out, and maybe they be snakes in the beginning, and then they're able to shift into a human form. Maybe have their own human form to where they don't have to do the things that Edwin had to do to acquire the human body, Edwin's body. But I want to know how this is going to go. And guys, you already know, drop your comments below. Let me know what you think of the Serpent's Den. What are you thinking of how this recent chapter has laid the foundation of what's to come and what to expect? And what do you think of Layla's pregnancy? Like, drop your comments below. Let me know how y'all think Layla gonna have these babies. I'm thinking it's gonna be some eggs. I think they go probably gonna come out snake form first, but they may, like I said, have like a shifting capability to where they ain't gotta eat somebody's heart like they pappy. So drop your comments below. Let me know. Guys, you already know if you like, love, and enjoy my recap, reacts, and recommendations, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to know when we upload new videos. When you like my videos, it does get me up in the algorithm. Share my videos if you're enjoying them and there's other Fujos who would enjoy my content. Share it on your social media. Like always, guys, be you, be amazing. And most importantly, keep reading those BL Manhwas. Layla's my beautiful BL Fujos out.
With that cosmic touch, every episode hits smooth